They said I couldn't do it. The haters were talking. But much like Jayden Daniels, I have returned.
Happy Friday, and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always on this Freaky Friday by the one, the only hall monitor himself. That is old dog legs, long neck Larry, Erik Ruby himself. And behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen, we have the butcher. Deef Beef has returned.
No.
He's pushing all the buttons. He's making the
Let's
magic
try it
happen.
again.
You don't like being Deef Beef?
No, Deef Beef is
I
fine.
like beef and bog.
The butcher is terrible.
Butcher? I feel like the butcher is a great name.
Well, it is for somebody who, like, is a bad guy, is nasty.
That could be a good guy name, good boy name. No?
Try
the
it
butcher?
again.
The Deli Man.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Mr.
The Deli
Meat?
Man.
Yeah, not Mr. Meat, settle down.
Mr. Meat, yes.
I'm fine with the Deli Man. Take your number and I'll be with you in a second.
Yeah, the Deli Man, Shane Diefenbach. I'm here for that, guys. Do us a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We got a couple of guys just being dudes in the chat. Mike, Luke, and David Rodish. Absolutely love it, guys. We got a busy program for everybody today. We got Hot or Not at the tail end of today's show. We're also going to be getting into the Arizona State Big 12 basketball schedule, the very first time that we have seen the Sun Devils conference schedule as a member of the Big 12. So a lot to get into there. We are also, though, going to be starting off with the return of the one, the only JD5, Erik.
He's returned.
The prodigal son.
I gotta say, it's probably a little weird for him. I don't think he's gonna say anything about that, but can you imagine having everything end the way that it ended here? And then going to LSU, having that type of success, winning a Heisman, number 2 pick in the draft, playing like the best rookie quarterback in the NFL right now. And then you come back and you practice at ASU.
Where it all started.
That's just such a weird but cool, but probably like just a little off-putting for him.
The only thing that makes it weird is that he went to LSU after.
No, I don't know. I think it's how it ended. It's not about what he did after. It's about how it ended, right? Like to publicly go out in that way and to have your teammates record the type of videos that they recorded, to have the chaos that ensued at ASU after he left as well. Like, that's such a dark period in time, I'm sure, for his life, but also for this program. And then you go to LSU and you win a freaking Heisman, right? And then you go and you be the number 2 pick in the draft. And then you come back to this place where you're looking at it and it's like, wow, that was a really tough spot I had to overcome.
Yeah, no, that's valid. And it was a dark time, right? I'm not like... probably for Jayden Daniels, as Arizona State was crumbling at that time, but it was a dark time for the PHNX Sun Devils crew at the time. Before we take a listen into what Jayden Daniels had to say most recently about practicing at the Arizona State facilities, I think it's only fair that we look back when it was announced that Jayden Daniels was going to hit the transfer portal.
Before we go there, it wasn't only a dark time for the host, it was also a dark time for our production. Watching this back, I mean, it was like, what, 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, I guess.
So this was like about a year into us.
I don't even know if we had like a year as a company.
Yeah. But it was about like a month into you.
Yeah, it was like a month or two into
You know what? It's your fault.
Well, no, don't put that on me, dude.
I like this.
That's absolutely
this.
not. The Herm thing had already occurred well before I was there.
Yeah, but the Herm stuff was going good before you were there.
No.
Yes, it was.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, it was.
No, it's not my fault.
I think it is. ASU sports, I mean, they're
This
definitely...
is what we're doing right now?
I mean, if you do this to everybody else, it's only fair that you get it thrown back in your
Yeah, but
face.
you're doing this is
Causation.
way bigger.
First of all, I don't even know who's on this show. in the clip we're about to play. It's not me, and it's not Sean. It's only you. I don't know who these people are.
You don't know who those
let's
goons
go ahead and watch
are?
It. Let's go ahead and watch
see
it.
Guys, an emergency pod today, maybe our biggest one yet, because of Jayden Daniels, ASU's starting quarterback, expected to pursue his options and enter the transfer portal.
Yeah. Didn't see this one coming. Can say that for sure. Shane and I were talking about it. We're now kind of false hope you. Definitely lulled us into a false sense of security with that I'm staying video, and now he's going. So you just raised a lot of questions.
Yeah, immediate reactions are, one, there's obviously still more out there. He wouldn't have had that video made if he didn't actually think he was staying. And if he did, that is the most cynical thing I've ever heard. But I doubt that's the case. I bet he, expected to stay, and then he either thought about it. Maybe there's nothing else. Maybe there isn't any other news, but I would assume there is. He either thought about it and decided I'm going to leave, or more stuff came. He was kind of blindsided by the Zach Hill thing, and now he's deciding to leave. And now ASU is left with two quarterbacks that have combined for 17 of 26 last year, or a little over 241 yards, or actually exactly 241 yards. So, yeah, Trenton Bourguet and Paul Tyson are the options. And then you also have Finn Collins and Dalen McLemore, who were 3-star prospects in high school. So, yeah, I don't really know, man.
It's painful because literally yesterday on yesterday's show, the last thing we talked about was the Pac-12 quarterback comfort rankings.
I'm uncomfortable.
Now you're uncomfortable. See, because yesterday we were like, as long as Jayden Daniels is here, then Arizona State football has hope, right? They've got a face to look forward to kind of lean on, right? The guy that has led this team through thick and thin for 3 years. You could say whatever you want about his numbers, but now that guy's not going to be there anymore. This team is going to be without Jayden Daniels. Again, the expectation is that he will pursue his options. Now, there's no, it's not, I guess, official that he is gone, and there's no say whether or not he would return or he'd pull his name out of the portal if he changes his mind. Clearly, this is a kid who he did change his mind, right? Like, he had that video made, and then, coordinators left or they resigned, and now this is the situation.
I just saw a tweet from Rashad White.
Oh God.
Who quoted the news and said, "Ooh-wee, eyes emoji. In trouble, laughing face, laughing face."
Oh God.
Oh no. Oh man. Like, what are you supposed to do here?
The answer to that question is nothing.
Dude, I totally forgot about the I'm staying video.
Yeah.
So much has happened since then. I completely forgot that he had a whole video.
Yeah, a whole video.
Yeah, that
was released
insane.
like a month before this news had came out. So everybody was like, okay, bet we're fine.
Yeah, it's seriously like, I remember the sense of relief.
Yeah.
Where you were like, oh, he's staying.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Then nothing bad's going to happen, guys.
We're going to be okay.
Everything's going to be great.
Yeah, spoiler, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't okay.
Man, we got really sold a false bill of goods, didn't we?
Yeah, I would say so. And the only, by the time that season started, the only one that was still there was Herm.
Yeah,
and then he wasn't there
for a period of time.
For a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
And then he was gone. But that is just, going back and watching that and then seeing how everything has unfolded over the course of the last several years.
Yeah.
It's just kind of crazy to be completely honest with you.
I mean, listen, I almost, now that we've gotten like past all of this, we've gone through the dark times,
all the garbage.
We've gotten through Herm. We've gotten through the bowl ban and sanctions and whatnot. Like, we are now on the other side of this. And unfortunately, we had to get through some mud to get to the other side.
Yeah.
But I don't think we get to where we are right now. We don't get to Kenny Dillingham. We don't get to this staff. We don't get to this roster. We don't get to the excitement, this 3-1 start.
Yeah.
If we don't go through all the terrible, terrible, terrible things that we had to go through.
So you're saying it was character building.
Honestly, it very much was character building.
But for the fans, the program could have been fine.
Yeah, the program could have been fine, but also if you think about it with Herm and everything, even if there was no sanctions, if there was no rule breaking, that wasn't going to last forever, and that wasn't going to continue to go in a great trajectory, right? Because he had success, but there's no way that was going to be turned into what we expect with Kenny to be a long-standing program that's going to have a head coach who leads it for the next however many years.
So you're saying all that needed to happen?
I mean,
that's one way to spin it.
In an ideal world, you don't want any of that to happen.
No.
And it really sucks that it did. But you don't get to Kenny Dillingham if none of this happened. You don't. That's the bright side in all of this. You don't get to where you are right now. You don't get to the excitement that's been building around this program if you don't have to go through the mud to get there. Because if Herm held on for another couple of years, Kenny's probably a head coach somewhere else.
Yeah, but this still would have always been his dream job.
Yeah, but you would then be in the process, we hired somebody else or whatever. I don't know. You don't know. And you can't promise that Kenny will be back here because you don't know if Kenny's going to be the type of guy that goes and gets hired by another school.
I love the way that you're trying this.
I'm trying.
You're trying really
It
hard.
already happened.
It
we
already
might as well
happened.
try
It's
to make the best of it.
It's
right?
behind us. Look, we have spent some time obviously reflecting. I know Arizona State fans spent some time reflecting probably for years on Jayden Daniels, on Herm Edwards, and that whole debacle that occurred just a few seasons ago. But Jayden Daniels, of course, the reason we're talking about this, the Washington Commanders quarterback, back in the Valley ahead of the Commanders showdown with the Arizona Cardinals. And, of course, the story just continues. Jayden Daniels practicing at the Arizona State facilities, where that journey had obviously really started to get to the NFL. JD5 was asked earlier in the week just kind of what it was like being at ASU with Brandon Ayuk, Rashad White, Ricky Pearsall, and seeing kind of where it's all gone, right? They're all obviously living out their NFL dreams. This is what JD5 had to say about it.
It started here. We grew up, and to see everybody live out their dreams, those are brothers to me. You know, we got B.A., Rashad, Ricky, people like that, man. Those are brothers to me, and I'm happy for them.
If only they could have actually won together here.
It is insane to look at the sheer amount of NFL talent that was on this roster at the same time.
Yeah.
It's pretty nuts.
It's not nuts. What's nuts is they only went 7-5.
Well, that's why it's
That's
so
what's
crazy.
nuts.
That's why it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Because even in the moment, you're like, wow, this is a really talented team.
You know, my favorite part about this is, though, is that, like, obviously when the talent on this roster was lost and, like, that whole era was over, every ASU fan was like, wow, they just wasted some pretty high-end talent.
Yeah.
It's insane. And now they're all at different schools. What's crazy is seeing everybody else catch up now, seeing these players in the NFL, and then seeing Herm on ESPN, and he said, this guy had Pearsall, Ayuk, Rashad White, Jayden Daniels all on the same roster, and they did what?
Nothing.
It's hilarious.
We were talking about it
nothing.
like last season. It seemed like every single week a former Sun Devil made a crazy play.
Yeah.
Like especially Ricky Pearsall when he had that insane one-handed grab. Just made you take a step back.
That's
and
genuinely also one of the best catches I've ever seen.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that was a crazy catch.
100%.
I think Elijah Badger was on that roster too, as a true freshman.
He was, and he that was the season I was pounding the table. I'm like, why aren't they giving him more touches?
Yeah.
Did he score like every time he touched the
He
ball
had three.
twice?
He had I think 4 touches. One was an end around, and one was a slant, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Just gross. Just absolutely gross to again reflect on that. I think the grossest part about all of it isn't necessarily the talent. It's not about Jayden Daniels leaving. I think the grossest part for everybody, at least for me, is the fact that you have to continue to talk about Herm Edwards. Because say what you want, Herm was a big part in recruiting him and Antonio Pierce, a giant part in getting Jayden Daniels to Arizona State in the first place. We know where it obviously led the program. Arizona State fans feel some type of way for Herm Edwards. This is how Jayden Daniels feels about Herm Edwards.
I'm always talking to Herm. Love Herm. He recruited me here. Phenomenal head coach, phenomenal man. Looked out for me while I was here. I still talk to him today, so that dynamic is still there.
I don't know why Jayden Daniels would have the same feelings that we would have towards Herm Edwards.
I guess that's fair.
I just looking at it from his perspective, right? there's so much that affected us as the fans that, like, quite frankly, again, it's also a lot easier to feel fondly about your time here and about Herm Edwards when you go on to have the type of career that Jayden Daniels is now having.
Yeah, but Herm didn't do anything with that.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, if he goes to ASU and he commits to Herm and then his entire career is derailed and he doesn't have success anywhere else or whatever, then it's probably easier to look back at this time and go, man, screw that. That really ruined me. But no, he went on to
ruined me.
He went on to win a Heisman, be the number 2 overall pick, and like even Herm, and you can read about this on GoPHNX.com because the great Craig Morgan wrote about it. Herm says if I'm picking quarterbacks, I'm picking Jayden Daniels, right?
Over who?
Anybody. That's what he said. So obviously these two are connected, and there's a reason why we were all so excited to get on the Herm train immediately.
Don't say we. Don't say we. I was never on this trade.
You were never on
I was never on the. No, he was a bad coach in the NFL. What makes you think he'd be a good coach in college? And he was already old at that time. He'd never coached in college before.
To your point, it would have been hard to find an ASU fan that wasn't on the Herm train when it first started. People also forget, after that Michigan State win, like, everybody was on the Herm train.
Yeah,
I was a big Jay Journo at that time. I was a big Jay Journo at that time.
Okay.
What I will say about Jayden and his feeling toward Herm is it's like similar to, I guess this kind of doesn't really make sense, but it's like an ex-girlfriend of yours that like you broke up with, or they broke up with you, or you had a falling out and you're on top still. Like you're to think about it, like that path drove me to where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like even if it wasn't the greatest time, it
Well,
helped.
see, I know what that's like.
It helped me. Yeah, exactly. It helped me mold into something better, and I'm grateful for that experience. And especially if there are
Now
no
I
hard
get it,
feelings
actually.
between. There we go. See,
You're on
you
board.
just have
You're
to
on
explain
this
things
right
in
now.
Totri terms.
Yeah, Totri language. Totri terms.
Totri terms might need to be a segment.
Segment has been born.
Yeah, Totri terms might need to be a segment. Like, hey, can we explain this in terms of Totri?
Oh
Understand?
my goodness.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that these two still have a good relationship. And to Shane's point, I think it is just because of what's gone on afterwards. And quite honestly, like Herm has skated afterwards as well. He just goes back to a cushy, analyst job for ESPN. It's not like he's just completely, his life has been derailed. I'm sure they wish they could have done more and they've done better here, but they've both been fine afterwards.
Yeah.
It's really, and we talked about this last season. The people who paid for what happened here when they were here were the people who came afterwards, and the fans.
It wasn't people that were here at that time.
It wasn't the people who were just here at that time and then left. And, that sucks. But at this point now, like I said, it is what it is. You have your leader of the program and Kenny Dillingham, who everybody's behind. You have a talented roster. You have hope. And we can look back on this time, and while it still stings, and there are people in the chat like Sharon who don't even want the name Herm to be said,
it's like Voldemort.
We're now getting to a point where we should not get over it, but we should acknowledge that we are on the other side of it, and we can start speaking about this stuff just as like, hey, this happened, but this is no longer pulling and tearing us down.
I think we're being a little dramatic now. Nobody actually feels that way that we can't talk about it.
No, I'm just like I'm over it. You know what I mean? Like, and Shane, you were on this show. We did this show for years. Like, we talked about Herm Edwards for countless episodes. We had talked about Herm. We covered those games. Like, it was. I think I'm just exhausted of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think the only reason why we are talking about any of this today
is because Jayden Daniels
it's because the Commanders are playing the Cardinals. There's going to be no reason, and
I hope the Commanders never come back to Arizona.
There's going to be no reason to really dive into Herm Edwards and Jayden Daniels for a while. That's why I knocked on wood. Like, there shouldn't be a reason for us to talk about this like again.
Jayden Daniels,
like
50 years from now, is the Arizona State football coach, and Herm's not going to be.
Well,
50 years.
Well, that got dark.
Let me ask you guys.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Let me ask you this, guys, and be honest here. When Jayden was a freshman, let's say after his freshman year, did you guys expect him to be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft?
No, absolutely not.
Did you guys expect him to play on Sundays?
I think you could see the potential. You could always see the potential with his arm talent. He always had a cannon of an arm. His
freshman year, like his deep ball, you knew immediately. He had one of the best touch I've ever seen.
But I don't know. For me, the big issue with Jayden was never the athleticism or the arm. It was always being able to go through his progressions and go through his reads. And it felt like especially late at Arizona State and even really early on at LSU, is he'd go through the very first two progressions, or he'd see something he immediately didn't like and he'd take off, which is something that
that was the most painful thing about it.
You can't do. You can't do it in the NFL.
To his credit, he's gotten a lot better at it. And the funniest
he's
part
even sliding.
Yeah. Well, the funniest part about it is everybody expected, and rightfully so, that Cliff Kingsbury would negate a lot of what he does well, which is his deep ball. Cliff Kingsbury notorious for not taking shots.
Yeah.
But what has happened, I think, is in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, the quick reads and everything has kind of forced Jayden to just be that calm, go through your reads. And he got better at that with Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
But still, like, it could be a good case for him now 3 years down the road. Does he still want Cliff as his OC? Probably not.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, the longevity thing is the only part that I'm like worried about with him. But we haven't seen him take a big hit except for in preseason.
Yeah. And that was always the big thing with him. And I mean, even when we go to LSU, and that's kind of like this meme online where it's like Jayden Daniels looks like a rag doll when he gets hit. What's going to happen when he goes to the NFL? I always thought that, like you guys said, I always thought he had the talent. I expected him to at least be one of those quarterbacks that somebody would take a shot on. Right? Say, hey, let's get you in here. You have the talent, but maybe you could be like a backup or, a starter if, like you said, you progress in the way that you should. I never expected Jayden Daniels to be the second overall pick in the NFL draft.
Coming off a Heisman season.
I never thought Jayden Daniels was going to win a Heisman Trophy. And that's like more power to him.
You weren't alone in that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like more power to him. Like even when he was playing really well in college, I was curious and a little skeptical about how it was going to translate to the NFL.
Yeah.
And granted, we talk about Cliff as somebody who used to cover the Cardinals. You are in the honeymoon phase with Cliff Kingsbury. And while he can still, maybe drop some different plays, and Jayden's been going downfield, and that's great. The problem with oh my gosh.
See?
The problem with Cliff, one syllable names, Cliff, not Herm. The problem with Cliff is that he just doesn't change what he does. He finds one thing that works and then he gets married to it. And if he proves now in this stint with the Commanders that he's changed that and that he has gotten better at that, then maybe we can have a different conversation. But your 3-4 games, the first like 10 to 12 games of Cliff Kingsbury, even the first season sometimes, usually fine.
Yeah.
It's what goes on after that. And so will Jayden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury be this dynamic tandem of offensive coordinator and quarterback? I don't know. Maybe. Is Jayden Daniels just that good? I don't know. Maybe. Kyler Murray is that dude as well. And Cliff put him in really terrible situations and positions. So I'm hoping that Cliff learned because, frankly, I am not rooting against Jayden Daniels' success.
No.
I'm happy to see him go to LSU and win a Heisman. I'm happy to see him go on to the NFL and see the success. It just sucks that what happened after him had to happen here.
I also think that so many ASU fans feel like he really slighted ASU and the I'm back thing
and then video
leaving
did it.
that hurts. But I think the visceral reaction from the players is what ASU fans are latching onto. Like they should be that angry too. When in reality, if this happened this year, or not this year talking about ASU's team, but in the world of college football now, it would no longer be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's almost normal. And two, you kind of don't feel the same way you did then because of how much promise was shown. And look, I know he was a talented quarterback and things were looking up until that point where he kind of plateaued and then everything was going down. And that was kind of last straw. But if you're an ASU fan, you don't really have reason to hate this kid.
No.
And so seeing him light it up on that primetime game with just two ridiculous deep balls, one while being hit to win the game, was awesome to see as an ASU fan. And if you think otherwise, I think you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of ASU fans that hate Jayden Daniels. I think there's a lot of people that see his immediate success and they're like, that should be us.
Envious.
Yeah, that's exactly what it should be. And look, I think a perfect note to end on when at least talking about Jayden Daniels is Jayden was asked about what he's most proud of, at least in terms of accomplishments at Arizona State. Obviously not a Heisman, not a Natty at Arizona State, but JD5 had some pretty nice accomplishments in a Sun Devil uniform.
Being undefeated versus Arizona, that's something I could say. I finished here undefeated. And 2019, the Oregon game.
Yeah, I mean, undefeated against Arizona is any quarterback at ASU will take that.
Be proud of.
And then, of course, the Oregon game. I mean, that's the biggest Arizona State football game since they played Notre Dame back in, 2014?
that game, that's a moment. That whole game was a moment. It will always be burned into my brain.
As it should.
And especially it's like, you know exactly where you were when that happened. And again, if he was coming out there and talking about just like how he didn't like his time at ASU or whatever, he doesn't like, he seems to be fond of his time at ASU. I don't think he's regretful of it. When I said at the beginning of the show, it's got to be weird for him to be here, not necessarily the fact that he hated ASU or that he desperately wanted to get out. I think he just had to do what was best for him.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end of the day, it's the same thing with the transfer portal now. Like, I know there's like a too far side of it, but everybody should be looking out to, hey, how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to be the best? You don't want to step on other people to get there, but you do need to look out for yourself.
Yeah.
And Jayden Daniels is not the reason why everything happened after he left happened to ASU, right? You can put that on the adults, quote, adults that were in the room at that time.
The adults.
So him leaving, him going on and having success, while I wish it happened here. I would have loved to see him play his entire collegiate career here and then go to the NFL and have success, and we can point and say, hey, that's our guy. But that's just not the way that it is. And you know what? Like, it's okay because we're moving on. We have a great head coach.
Was that a little therapy session?
We have a good team.
Yeah.
Like that, we could talk about this, but we don't need to be like down in the dumps because of Jayden Daniels and Herm Edwards.
Absolutely not.
Not anymore.
We've spent too much time doing that.
2022 and 2023 were the times to be sad.
Yeah. If you want to be sad, go listen to some of those PHNX Sun Devils shows.
Yeah.
They were sad a lot of the time. But
sad,
we survived.
But they seemed like they were fun.
We survived. Yeah, I mean, him and Sean had bleached hair.
I think you should bleach your hair.
No, the reason I didn't, I was part of a bet. Like, if the bet would have hit for them, I would have had to do it. But it didn't hit. I won. They lost.
Turnover
luck.
luck.
What it is.
I'll never bleach
turnover
my hair.
luck. Is that what you said?
That whole season was turnover luck. Look at them now. Look at them since then.
Yeah. Sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's a bummer.
For those of you who don't know, it was a bet between the Bengals and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game where Patrick Mahomes threw 2 interceptions that he shouldn't have. And, you know,
I had the Bengals covering.
The Bengals team was not good enough to win that game.
All right. Well, we are going to shift gears from football to basketball. So everybody join me for a second and just summon JJB. We are talking ASU basketball. We need JJB here in the chat.
BJ Freeman. There you go. BJ Freeman.
We're going to talk all things hoops next segment. But first, a quick break. Really love what Sanderson Ford is doing this week. Usually we would tell you about the cars and the deals and the personality there, but they want us to take some time and talk about the great Al McCoy. And I love that because as a lifelong Phoenix Suns fan, as somebody who wants to go into broadcasting and journalism and everything because of Al McCoy, obviously his passing meant a lot. And we've done a lot of coverage over on Suns. Shane's helped put together a fantastic video, but he really, truly is the greatest. And he was a huge fan, supporter, voice for Sanderson Ford. And that was a mutual partnership, a mutual relationship. In fact, I got to meet Al a couple times at my past job. And the last time that I was able to see him was right after his last broadcast. We did a live show out there for one of the radio shows I was working on from Sanderson Ford. And I got him to sign a vintage vinyl of his call of the Cinderella Sun season.
Oh, wow.
And I got to be there on air with him and talk with him, and just an incredible moment. So thank you to Sanderson Ford for giving us a moment just to remember Al.
Absolutely legendary. You know, I think you're somewhat of a legend in a way.
Stop.
You know what makes you legendary, though?
I don't.
You know what is?
What?
It's when you decide to wear branded Bills hats.
That's
what
true.
makes you a legend. It really steps up your fashion, steps up your game.
It's way more comfortable than other hats.
It puts it all together. It really is. It really is. I was actually working out in a branded Bills hat just the other day, and it is actually really, really nice. It's not too tight on your head. The actual texture of it is awesome. Whether you're wearing those hats strictly for that or for fashion or for just going outside, they got all sorts of hats for you. Truckers, fitteds, beanies, snapbacks, tees. Branded Bills has you guys covered when it comes to performance and style. Not to mention they've got partnerships with ASU and U of A as a part of their campus collection. Guys, head to brandedbills.com and use that code PHNX for 20% off your first order.
Is JJ here?
Has JJ spawned yet?
JJ?
Probably not. Probably not. Do us a solid, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast here at PHNX. We don't just do Arizona State. We've got shows covering the Wildcats, the Suns, the Mercury, the Rising, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks. The list goes on and on and on.
And if you are looking for some more Jayden Daniels talk or even want something with Cliff Kingsbury as well, did some Southwest bias, which is something we have on this YouTube channel as well with Bo Brock. That went up yesterday. You can go to check that out. One last thing, just put a bookend on it. David Martin in the chat with 2 things. A, says, just finished the Coach Todd Graham interview. Best show ever, guys. So if you missed that yesterday, we put that out there finally. And then as far as Daniels, no resentment for him leaving, more the way he left, waiting until we lost out on opportunities to bring in a quarterback. Well, it is what it is, and now we move on to talk a little hoops.
We do.
Well, I'm going to add one more thing. That's a great point by David. That is also what really you can really blame Herm for is like we know that quarterbacks, but just players in general can just leave at the drop of a pin.
Yeah.
In college football. But that also goes to show how unprepared the staff was for that. Because look, we love Trenton Bourget, and he did he outperformed everybody's expectation. But having him be thrown into that, like being the quarterback on the roster, and I know you ended up bringing people in. I remember leaving Mavericks Arcade to do an emergency pod because Emory Jones was transferred.
We were so excited.
Yo, that was kind of a moment.
We were so excited.
That was kind of a moment.
But also, that speaks to how desperate this fan base was for a quarterback
I was
that
like, Henry Jones
had proven success. You know what happens when a quarterback leaves another school? They have somebody ready to replace him. There's a clear number 2. There was never a clear number 2.
No.
Paul Tyson, really?
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on some of those backup quarterbacks that are here.
The moral of the story is just blame the adults in the room. Don't blame the kids.
Well, I mean, they don't even qualify as adults.
Let's talk basketball.
Let's talk hoops.
JJ!
We will get to B's comment a little bit later on in the show because we definitely do want to get into that. But for everybody listening on audio, real quick, I am just going to go through what the Arizona State 2024-25 Sun Devil men's basketball Big 12 conference schedule looks like. So December 31st, this team kicks off Big 12 play on the road against BYU. Then they come home. They've got Colorado on January 4th. They're back on the road January 8th, taking on Kansas. That'll be a big one. Then they've got a 2-game home stretch where they've got Baylor on January 11th and then UCF on January 14th. They hit the road again January 18th and the 21st to take on Cincinnati and West Virginia. Then back at home quickly on January 25th for a matchup against the Iowa State Cyclones. Had somebody in my mentions already talking about how they're going to be in Tempe for that game. Back on the road to take on CU for the second time that season. That is January 28th. Then a big one back at home, February 1st, Erik taking on the Arizona Wildcats. Obviously, Tommy Lloyd has himself a roster, as the Wildcats always appear to do. Also at home, February 4th against Kansas State. Back on the road, February 9th and the 12th, taking on Oklahoma State and Texas Tech. For some reason, I always forget that those two programs have basketball teams as well.
Oklahoma State,
the
home
and
of
Tech.
Former #1 overall pick.
Yeah, no.
Cade Cunningham?
Yeah, I do forget. Well, he plays for the Pistons, so yeah, it's super forgettable.
Don't you disrespect Cade.
Back at home, February 15th to take on TCU, and then the 18th, big showdown against Houston. On the road, February 23rd, take on Kansas State a second time. Back at home, February 26th. For BYU. Last few games of the conference schedule. March 1st on the road against Utah. March 4th on the road against Arizona. And then back at home to close things off March 8th against Texas Tech.
I mean, just look at that. Welcome to the Big 12.
That's a
Welcome
gauntlet.
to the show.
One thing I will say, we'll get into some of the bigger games that fans I think should be excited about. Kate Johnson, obviously in the chat, hoops with a ton of exclamation points, is we've been covering this team obviously a lot, right, over the last few seasons when it comes to Arizona State basketball. And Shane can attest to this. Arizona State basketball has had a absolute gauntlet the last 2 seasons finishing Pac-12 play with like UCLA, USC, and Arizona.
Yeah, it was almost always the California schools, and it was almost always on the road.
And it was awful. This is not a bad Final Four game stretch in my mind to wrap up the season.
Well, okay, it's not a bad last game. It all depends on if BYU's transfers are actually good, because they got some dudes.
Yeah, but Utah won't be in.
Utah might be the worst team in this conference.
Utah should be pretty bad, but there's always a surprise. Look, the middle of that schedule is one of the scariest things I've ever seen. I guess it is spaced out by some cupcakes here and there. Like CU's going to stink.
It's a good
They're
balance.
going to stink like poop.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be very good.
Stink like poop.
Kansas State's always trouble. Oklahoma State shouldn't be very good.
What is the worst 3-game stretch do you guys think on
like
this?
Hardest or easiest?
The hardest.
Hardest 3-game stretch. I mean, Iowa State's going to be pretty good. I know CU might not be great,
it's
but
definitely TCU, Houston, Kansas State.
Yeah. TCU.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going Kansas, Baylor, UCF. Does UCF
Baylor
have my darling on it? Is that UCF that has my darling?
No, Federico.
Federico.
I think he's on Cincinnati.
I'm getting a Federico jersey.
Federico. You got to get 2.
One for you, one for me.
I think Iowa State, Colorado's not great. Arizona is still a tough 3-game stretch, but yeah, TCU, Houston. Honestly, it might be Houston, Kansas State, BYU. Although TCU is going to have the Frankie Collins of it all as well.
And that's back in Tempe. Oh no, Frankie's going for 40.
February 15th is going to be a day.
Oh no, I forgot. Frankie Collins plays at TCU. That's ugh.
Yeah.
What? Let it out.
I'm not afraid of him.
You're not afraid of old Frankie Collins?
Frankie Collins, I love you, brother. I just don't think he's going to be able to take over a game against ASU this year.
That's fair.
Like, put it in a vacuum. Frankie Collins is still in ASU this year. ASU's roster this year is a different team. Do you think Frankie Collins is taking over against that team? I don't think so.
No,
I just don't think so.
This team is going to be significantly better in Arizona State.
This is a good team, and we have Connor Smith in the chat saying, "What does the roster look like for ASU basketball this year?" Well, it has 2 5-stars presumably going to be in the starting lineup, and a 4-star coming off of the bench. You have some really great transfers, and we can get into names and specifics as we get closer to basketball season. But I'll tell you this: it's going to be a complete 180
BJ
from
Freeman.
last season. BJ Freeman transfers like BJ Freeman, who averaged over 20 points.
That's all
per
you
game.
need to know.
Connor Braun. Is he the brother of
Christian Brown?
Yeah.
Christian Brown's brother, Connor Brown. Connor Brown sounds...
It's Braun, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's see. I'll look it up for you.
He's from Tempe, so I'm going to say probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
Where does he play?
Where does he play?
Yeah.
He's a forward.
For ASU.
For ASU, yeah.
So he's a walk-on.
Yeah.
He's 6'9".
He will not be seeing the court.
I doubt he would be...
No, he won't see the court.
He will not be seeing the court.
So just to go through some of the roster for Arizona State, of course, headlined by Bobby Hurley Jr. So you have Bashir Jihad, Bryson Long's return, Alston Mason, Adam Miller, Austin Nunez, Sean Phillips Jr., 5-stars, Jayden Quaintance, Josan Sanin, Amir Ali's on this team, Brandon Gardner, who I keep forgetting about exists.
Did you guys see their first video they posted? The first couple of videos they posted?
I did.
On Twitter? First couple practice videos. There's a clip in that video of Quaintance running the floor, and oh my God, he is such a freak athlete. That kid is going to be such a good basketeer.
He's going to be a really good basketeer.
He's going to be a very good basketeer.
Oh, does Devin Cambridge, is he back at Tech this year?
No, I don't think he got approved.
Really? He tore his...
I know, but wasn't it halfway through the year?
No, it was like 3 games in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think he got cleared. I think we're going to see the basketeer this year. Again, back in Tempe to close out the season. I don't know.
I'm looking it up
maybe,
right now.
Maybe. Bees in the chat.
I think he does.
You look at that schedule and say, yep, life in the Big 12, men's basketball, baby. Buckle up. Gonna get turbulence.
This is such a fantastic opportunity for ASU because that schedule is tough. There are teams that you should be better than. And you have so much talent, a completely different roster. And if you go out there in Big 12 play, I mean, they have a tough non-con too. But you go out in Big 12 play and you put a stamp in it, even if you're not a top 3 or 4 team in this conference, you are still a tournament team.
Oh, yeah. I would say
still
6 or 7 teams in this conference probably make the tournament.
Yeah, B says March Madness goes through the Big 12. And if you compete in year 1 and you have the documentary that's going to be following around Bobby Hurley and this team as well, with these 5-stars, with potential, to get 5 stars going forward as well, this is a serious opportunity for Arizona State men's basketball to get some momentum.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you talk about what this does in terms of 5 stars down the line, right? Arizona State getting 2 5-stars in Quaintance and Sanin this year. We know Arizona State is in play for Koa Pete. And then B's at the top of this segment talking ASU hoops. Tunde, right? Tunde, his commitment, I believe, is it Tunde? Tunde's commitment, I believe, is October 3rd. So that is coming up here.
Wow,
It's,
that's next
yeah.
week.
Yeah, that is next week.
And he only visited with ASU, Baylor. Is one other school?
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
Baylor
other school.
was. What was the other one?
I don't know, but
Might have been
It's going to come down to Baylor and Arizona State.
Yeah.
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 Well, I
USC,
don't
Baylor, Arizona State.
I think it's probably between all three of those.
Nah, screw the other school.
USC. I think it's probably between all three of those. Yeah, Tunde Yusufu is like he'd be such a good Bobby player because he reminds me a lot of Dort. He's a little undersized, but he plays like a 4.
Mhm.
He's definitely not he's good. He's a very good basketball player.
Yeah.
He's
Not a basketeer, though.
He's not a basketeer because he's physical. I guess Jayden Quaintance is physical too. I just wanted to say basketeer. Yeah, Tunde plays a very physical brand of basketball. Gets every board. The dude just tries really hard.
Mhm.
He's got the most stars from trying really hard I've ever seen.
More than Luther Muhammad? Luther Muhammad tried really hard.
Yeah, but he wasn't was he? Is Tunde a 5-star?
Tunde on just a player ranking is a 97, which is a 4-star.
So almost a
Yeah.
5
But in composite,
That's what I mean.
he's a 5-star.
Oh, you're saying highest star
he
of guy
he
that
has
tries
an
hard.
extra star for trying hard.
Oh, got you.
I mean, he's really good. He's the 17th best player in the country rating by 24/7 Sports. 6'5",
he
211.
moved it to October 2nd.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so he moved to October 7th. Now,
In honor of my little brother's birthday.
yeah, I know that's why.
Yeah.
So the crystal ball prediction does say Baylor.
Yeah. Crystal
However-
ball's not real.
However, you never know. You never know.
What's the percentage?
100%.
Okay, so
Nah.
those are usually right.
Nah, I've seen him be wrong, though.
I have too, and especially in this world with ASU and the things they've been
Bobby.
pulling. Bobby,
You know, completely off topic, VJ Edgecombe for Baylor this year is going to be a
VJ
monster.
Edgecombe?
Do you know about VJ Edgecombe?
No, I think it's a stupid name, though.
Whoa, stop. That's a
VJ
sick name.
Edgecombe?
VJ Edgecombe is a sick
Oh,
name.
Edgecombe?
No, Edgecombe.
Comb. Like hair comb?
Yeah.
Edgecombe.
Here's the name right here, dude. Highest recruit all time in Baylor history.
Edgecombe.
Yeah. Dude, he's legit. He played for
It
the
could still be a stupid
Bahamas.
name.
He played for the Bahamas in FIBA play and as like a 17, 18-year-old and just went nuts. He's insane. He's one of the best athletes I've ever seen. Dude's
One
gonna-
of the best. How
dude's-
old is he?
Dude, he's going to be class 2024. He's going to play Baylor this year. He is going to be a top 5 pick in this draft.
You're calling him one of the best athletes you've ever
He's
seen.
going to
and
be
he's
a top
18
5.
years old.
He is going to be a top 5 pick in this draft. Sorry, this is completely off topic, but I'm just looking at Baylor recruits. VJ Edgecombe is a problem, and he will be a problem this year. So sorry.
Okay, well, if
But
he fails,
back-
that's on you.
Back to Tunde. That is on me. Back to Tunde. Like you said, Shane, this brand of basketball, I mean, 6'5", 211, they have him listed as small forward, but you're
Yeah,
going
I
to play
mean,
bigger, especially like that in high school.
Slightly smaller.
I
than
mean,
me.
I think he'd probably play the 3 in college, but his game is way more catered to playing like he's like I guess he'd probably turn into more of a slasher scorer.
Mhm.
But he's as I said, like strength, just want to.
He's
yeah.
a want-to guy.
Yeah, he's. You know what? Saying this more, he's such a Baylor Bear. He's the most
No,
Baylor.
no.
He really is. He plays more like a Baylor Bear than anybody I've ever
Stop
seen.
it.
That's your crystal ball prediction?
Is that your crystal ball that he's going to Baylor? Oh, goodness. Well, we'll find out, obviously, in a couple days where Tunde ends up. Nice to see, though, that the schedule for Arizona State out there done. Arizona State fans can get locked and loaded and ready for Arizona State basketball in the Big 12. Look, a big part of our Friday shows is obviously hot or not, and we are going to check the temperature,
Let's
but
go.
we're going to do it on the other side of this break. Now is the perfect time to tell you guys about our friends over at Neutral. Look, Eric's been talking about how badly he wants to try the orange flavor. Well, now
I'm
he
going
can.
to.
Now he can because we've got some finally in the office. And Sun Devil fans, let's keep something in mind, okay? Keep it tasty, Tempe. Okay, you always keep it tasty with Neutral. Look, I'm not normally a big seltzer guy because seltzers, like, they taste like seltzers to me. I don't like all the bubbles. It's just too much for me. But Neutral is unlike any seltzer I have actually ever had. It is a perfect balance between juice and seltzer. You don't get the crazy overly bubbles. You don't get the overly sweet. It really is a perfect combination. And it's made with 3 simple ingredients, okay? Vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Guys, it's so good that you are never gonna want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer Again, nothing goes better than college football and a neutral vodka seltzer. Guys, neutral. Keep it tasty. Enjoy responsibly. 2024 Anheuser-Busch neutral flavored vodka and carbonation, St. Louis, Missouri.
We like to have fun over here at PHNX, do we not?
I mean, yeah, it's Friday.
And there's no better place to have fun than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They have so many different locations: Wild Horse Pass, Lone Butte, Vequiva, Santan Mountain. My personal favorite, and I think the personal favorite of a lot of PHNX employees, is Wild Horse Pass, because we do so many events out there. You're always a winner when you're at Gila River Resorts and Casinos, whether you're going to their state-of-the-art gaming floor, their sports book, their upscale to approachable dining, poolside, rooftop, you want to go to concerts. They literally have it all, and it is the best experience, whether you're trying to do a staycation, just a night out with your friends, or you want to come to one of our Suns or Cardinals watch parties that we will be hosting, many of them, their entire season. So you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Eric, are you ready?
I'm actually really excited. I know Captain Redbeard, he's off today, off with Papa and Mama Redbeard. And he's done great on Hot or Not. But there's some different juice in the building when the Deli Man.
I mean, the Deli Man is here.
The Deli Man's doing Hot or Not.
You guys have your numbers?
Yeah, I'm number 1.
I'm number 2.
I got a number 3. Number 3. No.
What was the number 3?
Number 4.
You got a Reuben back there?
No, you have to order. This is like you take your number to order. So like it's
You're just skipping us.
Number 5.
Wow.
If you guys are number 1, we have to go all the way back around.
Wow.
Oh my God.
He's a busy man.
Can I get another number?
Number 6. Well, yeah, you can grab another one. Go ahead, grab another one.
I'm 7.
I'm 9.
Crazy.
Number 10.
Dude! Not hot. It is time for Hot or Not, guys. If you are new here, our lovely producer, the Deli Man, is going to give us 3 random topics that will most certainly turn into an argument. Let us know in the chat. Chime in whether you think the topic is hot or not. Shane,
Okay.
the Deli Man Diefenbach, what do we got?
I have so many options. I have like a huge running list. And so I'm just gonna
Just spitballing here.
hot or not. I don't know if that's really divisive enough because they kind of rock. I'm just gonna do it anyway. Hot or not, mummies.
Hot.
Why? You said that really
I
fast.
don't know. Just a feeling. Yeah, I don't have like a specific reason. I just mummies. Are they hot or not? Hot. Yeah.
But, I mean, they're cold because they're dead.
Okay.
No,
I'm not
but like
talking
you said
literal.
that really quickly. I have
don't
never
know.
seen a mummy that doesn't like
I just think they're
scare
cool.
you or
I just think
haunt
they're
you.
cool.
What's
I think they're
cool about it?
I don't know. They're just all wrapped up and stuff.
I think they're pretty rad.
I think they're pretty cool.
I mean,
You're just a hater.
they're scary, but they're kind of rad.
Yeah.
No, but like you have no logical reason to be like, yeah, a mummy's hot.
I don't really
cool.
have a logical reason either. I just like
It's just got. It's a
okay. Here,
feeling.
do you want me to get really
No,
technical?
no. Yeah, you get technical. Why you think a mummy's hot?
Well, first of all, I think it was really innovative in like BC to mummify and to have this embalming process. You know, I will say though, things weren't really great back then.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, things aren't great now.
Oh yeah. Well, we weren't using slaves to embalm people.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
And treat people as kings. So yeah, the pharaohs the idea of them not hot, the coolness factor of them in a vacuum, cool. They're cool.
But would they
guys.
be as cool if they weren't called pharaohs?
Yes,
I don't think they
because
would be.
they have cool garb
Mm.
and
They had aura.
Yeah, they did have aura.
Oh, dude, mummies have aura for sure.
Yeah,
mummies don't have aura. Pharaohs had aura.
Mummies have
Well,
aura.
okay.
No.
hold
Don't
on,
get.
hold
No.
on.
They have
Reanimated
aura.
mummies have aura.
Yeah.
Just mummies don't have aura because it's just a dead
But when
person.
I think of
with
a mummy,
cloth.
I think of like the ones that are, brought back to life.
Revenge of the Mummy.
No.
Are you guys serious?
I've
What
been
is
on the
Revenge
mummy
of the
ride.
Mummy?
I've been on the mummy ride.
Yeah.
Mummy
That's-
ride's pretty
The
good.
Mummy ride's amazing. The Mummy ride is one of the best rides ever.
Where is this?
You're
Universal?
underselling it. It is unbelievable. The Revenge of the Mummy, the movie.
Who's in it?
I think The Rock is in it.
Oh.
I think he's the.
He makes bad movies.
No, this is in 2001.
Oh.
It's like Prime Rock. I don't know if he was.
Prime Rock.
I don't even know if he's
Prime
actually.
Rock.
Mummies aren't
I
hot.
swear he was.
Mummies aren't hot.
Yeah, he was.
I like your
No, he's in
reasoning.
the Mummy Returns. The
Mummy returns.
yeah. The CGI does not really keep track of what it is today.
Uh-huh.
But you need to watch those movies. That you just bake on your couch and watch that movie. It is-
Cookies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cookies.
Yes.
Cookies or weed. Doesn't matter.
Can you do me a favor, Erik?
Me?
Yeah, I really, really want you to do this.
Oh no.
I really, really want you to be a
It
mummy.
really depends on what you
I want
ask.
you. So we're gonna have a Halloween party, and I want you to be a mummy.
No chance.
What?
Why?
You'd be such a good mummy.
You'd be such a
If
good
there was
mummy.
one
Too much
person-
work.
You're kind of built like a
If
mummy.
there was one person in this office to be a mummy, it's
It'd be Erik.
100%.
Too much work.
I'll
Too much
wrap you
work.
myself.
I'm not
Brother,
wrapping
there are-
myself up into
Brother,
toilet
there
paper.
are mummy costumes that require no work.
Come
Okay,
on.
find me a mummy costume that requires no work.
And then you'll do
brother,
it?
I will literally mummy costume at google.com.
Oh no, I was gonna.
Oh look,
I had an
Egyptian mummy
idea.
costume.
I had an idea for Halloween. I'm completely.
You be
completely
a mummy,
spacing.
and I'll be a pharaoh.
So I'm the dead version of you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that is literally what you're doing.
You're like, wow. Alive and dead, huh?
I grew taller once I died.
I was gonna make that joke. I was like, I don't want to go there.
They
There you go.
extended your shins.
Yeah, I don't think mummies are hot. They're not. I got nothing.
How
for
could
you.
I dress up like something for Halloween if I'm not gonna have your approval of it being hot? How am I supposed to do that?
Well, you'd make it
In
hot.
good
Erik.
conscience.
You'd make it hot.
Oh, okay. We'll
Yeah,
take that.
there you go. What's topic number 2, Deli Man? God, I love that nickname.
It's a pretty good one. Pottery.
Okay, like the art, like you making the pots and stuff.
What does pottery mean?
Pottery is just like I don't know pots.
Oh, are you talking about the verb or the noun?
I'm talking about
that-
the
is that-
verb, like the making
Well,
of
no.
pots.
Are you asking? Is it the verb or the noun that I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's say the verb. The act of making pots.
That is significantly
That's
more
different.
hot than just I think pottery as the noun.
Erik disagrees.
I actually do disagree.
Really?
Yeah, because I sucked at it. It's hard. It's if you're like really good at it and you're like,
well,
You're not good with your hands,
no,
man.
this is pretty on brand for Ruby because he's running from the grind. It was hard,
Yeah.
so he quit.
There you go. Jose Perez back
look,
in
art
action.
class was over. Okay, 6th grade was done. There was no going back.
You
I
were
haven't
doing
touched-
this in the 6th
haven't-
grade.
Yeah, dude. They
What kind of school did you go to?
Yeah.
no Copper Canyon. Come on, shout out to the Coyotes.
No free ads, man.
No free ads for my elementary school.
The
I don't
schooling
know.
system needs money. I'm
I had a very-
fine to give free ads to the schooling system.
A very eccentric art teacher.
Yeah.
And
I had one too. We call him Mr. E.
Mr. E.
Yeah.
I forget. Oh, Mr. Delahunt.
Mr. Delahunt?
That was my art teacher's
Whoa.
name.
That's scary.
That is scary.
That's an art teacher name, though.
I don't know.
I don't know, no.
That's like a wood shop.
Yeah, that guy
teacher
works
name.
for Cabela's.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty on the nose because of the hunt, but yeah. Or he works. You know what he works for? A meat deli,
Mm.
and he's the one that
that's true.
hunts.
Deli
Or the
Hunt.
Arizona
Deli
Board of
Hunt.
Game and Fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brought to you by Delahunt.
I think it's hot.
Sounds like a beef jerky.
It does sound like a beef
Yeah.
jerky.
I think it's hot if like somebody's good at it, but it's a really frustrating process if you're not good enough. Granted, I have not tried since I was a wee little lad,
Mm.
so maybe I'd be better at it. But I guess the process of it, and if you're really good at it, if
No,
you're
it's
people
cool.
that are super
It's hot.
talented are
Yeah.
hot.
As a
It's
creative, it's being literally creating something. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
No, it's really cool.
very
It's really
cool.
cool. I've never done it.
That being said, Leah always wants to. She doesn't always want to, but she's mentioned it before that she wants to go to one of the like the place. There's one place at Desert Ridge that's similar to that, and I'm always going to say no because it's the act of
Always gonna
the
say
act-
no.
I would love to do it, but actually going to do it, no.
See,
No.
yeah, you can't get on, bro. You can't get on me running from the ground. You don't even do it.
Yeah, but that was presented in front of you
just-
in
And I
class.
did it.
I'm joking.
And I did it.
I'm joking.
I'm joking.
I'm joking.
joking.
All right,
that's
Deli
hot.
Man, bring
I'll
us
do it-
home.
I'll do it one day. Hot or not, private for-profit prisons. I'm kidding.
Oh my god!
Depends who you ask.
No, it's not hot.
That's not
That's
actually the
not
topic.
actually the topic.
Let's
Let it
take
be on the
politics out of this.
For-profit prisons.
Just kidding.
No free ads.
Hot or not? Yeah, those don't need any more money. Submarines.
Hot.
Ooh. Well, I mean, if you're
Sandwiches.
the people,
Just kidding. Just kidding.
if you're the people that were on the Titanic one, you'd probably say not hot.
That's not a submarine. That's a submersible.
Yeah.
That's a big
Come
difference.
on,
It's the
dude.
same thing.
No, it's not.
Same thing.
Get real.
No, it's not.
It's
Get
got
real.
sub in the name.
Yeah.
So there's
Goes-
subtraction. That doesn't mean it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Like,
I was gonna try to find. a joke
Okay,
you beat me
guys,
to.
whatever.
the wheel was turning. I was like, sub.
Substitute teacher.
Subscribe to this channel.
There you go. You go.
I mean, they're hot.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're pretty cool.
They're pretty
It's a
sick.
pretty awesome, like manufacturing feat. that mankind
Just in a little tube
accomplished.
underwater. That's so sick.
Yeah. Have you seen? You know how they work?
We get amused at really basic things,
That's
you know?
not, dude. Submarines are literally like
No,
the
no, no.
farthest thing
but
from basic.
He made it sound. Wait, it's a pipe underwater. Like awesome. Like that's how you made it sound.
Do you guys know how they work? You guys know how they can go up and down? Do you, Rubus?
Mechanics?
No.
There are these
I'm
things,
just such a simple guy.
there are these things called ballast tanks, and it's as simple
God,
as
you
just,
know a lot about nothing.
It's yeah, I do. It's as simple as just filling things like big tubes up with water for buoyancy. It's really that simple. Isn't that crazy?
It is kind of crazy.
Like you think it'd be some crazy. I mean, there are obviously there's a lot more to it, but
I feel like we need more submarine movies.
yeah, they're all going to be about World War II.
Well, no, they don't have to be.
Yeah, but submarines are.
Getting lost at sea in a submarine.
What if I told you?
I mean, they still
Like we got Revenge of the Mummy, but we don't have like
Revenge of the Submarine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a submarine movie
I went
title.
to a Subtract.
Subtract down below the submarine
Ballast.
from beyond.
Ballast.
That's sweet.
That's good.
That is a good one.
What's that lizard guy that from the basilisk? Yeah.
Yeah.
The basilisk. The basilisk would be a great name for a submarine.
The Basilisk?
The basilisk.
It's Basilisk.
Basilisk.
Say that one more time.
Basilisk. Basilisk.
Basilisk.
Say it again.
Basilisk.
Basilisk.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
You're just trying to add some extra consonants.
There's way too much going on. Okay?
One of the only good things about Indy is their World War II museum, and they have a submarine in there.
We're talking Indiana?
Yes.
Okay.
They have a submarine in there. Indianapolis, Indiana. No.
Yeah.
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 No, settle down. One of the only good things about that place is the World War II Museum because they have a you can go into live submarines. So I've been inside a submarine that was in World War II, and its flag had
Hey now.
It had what?
Bro.
What do you think of
You
it?
got it. You got it.
Dude.
Its flag had like a.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
Its flag had a piece or a symbol for each sub it sunk, and it sunk like 20 of them.
Jeez.
Very cool.
That is a cool accomplishment. Sinking a sub.
Sunking a sub.
Sunking a sub. Sub-sunker.
Sunken Sub is
Sunken
kind of
Sub is a good
name.
movie name.
You guys good at Minesweeper?
No.
What's that?
The game where
Sweet
you click
Minds?
to find the mines, the old computer game. You don't know what Minesweeper is?
No.
Do
I strike you as
were
a guy
you
that would play
lobotomized?
that game?
What happened to you?
Guys, that's going to do it for today's episode of
No, you've never seen Mines. You've definitely seen it here. I'm pulling it up on the computer.
I've seen Minecraft. I never played Minecraft.
You've
By
never
the way,
played Minecraft?
Mm-mm.
Totri.
Yeah, that's weird. I've been sending you VJ Edgecombe highlights on Twitter this entire time.
This
That's
game.
so you know.
crazy.
This game.
I've seen that game. I've never
Okay.
played that game. It looks like Roblox. Or not Roblox.
No, it
Tetris.
doesn't,
It looks like
actually.
Tetris. It does look like Tetris.
It's a good game.
I'll
It's
take your
very
word
simple.
for it.
It's literally 1s, 2s, and 3s. It's very fun. Very big fan of it.
He called their number finally.
Yeah.
11,
Guys,
12.
that's going to do
What
it.
would you order from a deli?
A Reuben.
Is that really it?
Rubis.
What about you, Rubus?
Oh, it depends.
He strikes me as like a grilled cheese guy.
No.
You're really mean today.
Grilled cheese with a pickle.
He's always.
He thinks you're
Oh,
simple.
he's like, oh, you little dum dum likes his little grilled cheese. Oh, you can't handle all the flavor
Dude.
with your little small brain.
Speaking of Dum Dum, Night at the Museum.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Oh.
Great movie. That's
Mummy's
the
in that
only
movie.
Yeah, no, but
that's what I was.
that's
That's
the
the
only
mummy I
that's
was
the
thinking
only
of.
good mummy.
Isn't the mummy the main antagonist of the film?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And the second one, I think.
Is it the second one? Well, I mean, I know like the people that break in, which are the security guards, right?
Yeah.
Aren't they? Don't they? No, do Yeah, the mummy's the
But the mummy's not the
catalyst.
first one, right?
I don't know.
Should we watch it?
Right now.
Yeah, after this.
Yeah, PHNX watch along of Night at the Museum.
Now we
Coming
go
soon.
crazy.
Let's do it. Okay.
Now we're good.
Yeah, the viewer count has dropped significantly. Guys, hit the like button.
Shout out
Those of
to
you that are
everybody
left.
still here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Brand new episode of Behind the Enemy Lines drops tomorrow morning with me and Mike Luke. Definitely take a listen into that one, guys. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX _Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony _Totri. You could follow Old Long Legs, Jose Perez, Long Neck Larry, Rubis, Professor Oates, also
VJ
known
Edgecombe
as
Enjoyer.
the Hall Monitor, Erik Ruby. That
Settle
is
down.
Erik with a K. You can follow the Deli Man Deef at Shane Deef.
Oh, man.
Defending Ruby, but then attacking him as always.
The way
We
to
will
go.
see.
Ruby,
Yeah.
it's going to be okay, but get your stuff together.
Yeah. Do
No.
it. Simple, man. We'll see you Monday. In the meantime, guys, go Devils and peace.
We all silly like the mayor.